Democratic governor of Illinois, JB Pritzker, just made a major announcement against Donald Trump and the Republican Party. He's now calling for mass protest against Trump in every single city. Look, you're not going to beat Donald Trump by sitting on the sidelines and just letting him do whatever he wants to do. You're going to beat Donald Trump by making your voices heard and causing some good trouble. And in this speech that he gave last night, he said that Republicans, quote, cannot know a moment of peace. A really, really strong statement. Let's have a look at what he had to say. But before we do so, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It goes an incredibly long way. Drop a like on the video, comment some blue hearts and some American flags. Let me know what you think about this, but let's just dive right in.
Never before in my life have I called for mass protests, for mobilization, for disruption, but I am now. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. They have to understand that we will fight their cruelty with every megaphone and microphone that we have. We must castigate them on the soapbox and then punish them at the ballot box.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I really think that Democratic leaders are waking up to this reality that we just spoke about. I think for a long time, a lot of people in the Democratic Party, the base, were frustrated with what Democrats in the Senate, the House, even governors around the country were doing, that they felt like they weren't doing enough. Now I feel like people like JB Pritzker, Cory Booker, Hakeem Jeffries, AOC, all of these different leaders in the Democratic Party are stepping up to the plate and realizing that, yeah, we're going to beat Donald Trump in the streets. We're going to beat him in the ballot box. We're not going to beat him by just sitting back and writing strongly worded letters or putting out harsh statements against Trump. No, it's going to be mass mobilization, mass protests. We all saw how successful the hands-off protests were, where people in every city across the country were protesting against Donald Trump. We need more of that. We need it on a regular basis because caught the eye of the media, caught the eye of the American people. We need more of that. And look, this kind of mass protest against Donald Trump, the protests in the streets, the protests in the town halls are infuriating him. We know it's getting under his skin because just yesterday, Donald Trump put out a statement calling for Republican members of Congress to remove people from their town halls who they think are being rowdy, who they think are not aligning with their views and making the people think that the Republican Party is fractured. Just take a look at this insanely dictatorial statement that Trump put out. He said, quote, "The radical left Democrats are paying a fortune to have people infiltrate the town halls of Republican congressmen and women and senators. These great patriot politicians should not treat them nicely, have them immediately ejected from the room. They are disruptors and troublemakers. You must allow your audience to know what you are up against, or else they will think that they are Republicans and that there is dissension in the party. There is not. There's only love and unity. Republicans are happy with what is taking place in our country. We all love America." Wow. An incredibly authoritarian statement, as I said. Like, he's saying that if you are a dissenter, if you disagree with my agenda, if you disagree with your Republican congressman or woman, you should be kicked out of the town hall. You should be removed. You should be removed. Get out of there. Look, this is what dictators today throughout history have done. Whenever there's any dissent, they say you are removed from the room. Your voice cannot be heard. This is coming from the party that claims to be the party of free speech, but when it's speech that they don't like, they say have them ejected immediately from the room. And look, he has to come up with some lie to justify this statement, this behavior, right? So he says that Democrats are paying a fortune for people to go to these town halls, when in reality, the people going to town halls and making their voices heard toward their representatives are Democrats, Republicans, independents, people across the political aisle who are frustrated, who are angry at what Republicans are doing. They're leading the government right now. They have the House, the Senate, the presidency. They're the ones in power. And these people are frustrated that they are not doing anything for them. Nobody's getting paid to do this. It's just average everyday Americans, hardworking folks who are pissed off at what Trump and Republicans are doing. And I want to segue this into a clip I want to show you from a town hall that just happened yesterday. Republican Representative Mike Lawler from New York. This is exactly what inspired Donald Trump's statement here to say, oh, these town halls have to end, and if anybody is being a disruptor, they have to be removed. Just take a look at the audience in this video of Republican Representative Mike Lawler's town hall. He cannot control the audience. He goes off with these, BS platitudes in his statement saying, "Oh, I've worked across the aisle," and things like that. And the audience is just not having it because they know that he is someone who sucks up to Donald Trump. Just take a listen.
That are going to make everything more expensive for us, kidnapping and deporting 2-year-olds who have cancer and sending them off. So my question to you, none of this is helping us. We're getting hurt. We in the community are being harmed by this. What are you doing to stand in opposition to this administration? And what specifically are you doing that warrants the label moderate?
Great question. Look, that was a great question. And that's the kind of question that Republicans are so scared to answer, which is like, what are you actually doing for us? What are you actually doing to make our lives better? And just take a look at his response.
Again, my record speaks for itself. I have been rated the fourth most bipartisan for a reason, which is a very simple fact. That unlike many of my colleagues, I actually do work across the aisle. I actually do sit down with my colleagues. There's not a single local elected official who can honestly say that I have not sat down with them and worked with them regardless of their party. There's not a single one of my Democratic colleagues in the Congress who could say that I don't do that. When it comes to folks, if you want me to answer the questions, let the question be asked and then listen to the answer. If you're just going to yell back and forth, the time is going to run pretty quick. So,
yeah, getting kind of heated there. He's not too happy with people trying to hold him accountable, people asking the tough questions, people making their voices heard. And so he had to snap on them, being like, "Hey, stop talking back to me," and things of that nature. I mean, it's just the Republican way. The Republican way in these town halls where they attack the constituents who are upset. They don't say, "Hey, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I'm not representing these people in a way that is sufficient." Instead, they snap on their own constituents, their own voters. But this is the kind of scene that Donald Trump and the Republicans hate, where Republicans are getting a little nervous. Their palms are a little sweaty as they're speaking to their constituents. Their constituents are asking the hard questions like, "Hey, how is deporting a 2-year-old with cancer helping me? How are these tariffs helping me? How is Donald Trump consolidating power in the executive helping me? How is Donald Trump ignoring federal courts helping me?" They hate answering these questions because there is no answer. And then they have to go on rants like this. Mike Lawler saying, "Oh no, I've worked with Democrats. I'm bipartisan." In reality, that's not true. He sucks up to Donald Trump at any opportunity that he gets. So, look, I just love this clip of Mike Lawler getting heckled at a town hall. But I especially love JB Pritzker saying, "Hey, we need mass mobilization. We need mass protests against Donald Trump. Let's not give them a moment of peace," as he said in that speech. So anyway, look, I will leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes an incredibly long way. Also, drop a like on the video and comment. As I mentioned, let me know what you think about all of this. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.